What's up, guys? My name is Kenny Nicoletti, and as of 2022, I quit my job to become a full-time poker player. My goal is to travel from event to event, documenting my journey as I try to make a living out of this career. Watch me punt stacks or bink big cashes. I appreciate you guys following me to tune in into my journey. Before I begin going through the only tournament I got footage of, I do want to say that we were in Florida for the WPT Hardrock series for about 10 days. Out of those 10 days, we played about 6 events and cashed 4 of them. No real big wins, but we overall lost about $5,000. After all expenses were accounted for, we probably lost over $7,000. Out of the 6 events we played, we only got footage of the very first event we played. Unfortunately, we needed media approval when it comes to those WPT events. Unlucky. On day 2, we had a floor guy come up and tell us we have to stop recording or else we'd have to leave. We obviously complied and ended up just playing the rest of the series without any content. I honestly almost just left and said, what's the point? But I already booked my Airbnb, stay for the week, and I just felt like I would have wasted too much money if I just left. However, the entire trip was not much of a success anyways. Now let's get into the poker. We've just arrived to the Hardrock Casino in Florida. Excited to be here and ready to go. It's the very first day of our arrival. We've got an Airbnb about 10 minutes away and we've got to commute every day. It's 5 days till the main event and I'm ready to get as much footage as I can. It's a Monday and there's a $600 2 black chip bounty tournament. Let's go. We're playing this one. We sit down a little late into the tournament with 20K chips and the blinds are 400, 400, 200. We have about 50 big blinds and find our first spot with 5-6 of clubs on the button. Under the gun opens to 800, middle position calls, and we go ahead and make the call. This is a bit loose and we honestly can fold here too, but we're trying to find some chips and a suited connector can win big pots if they hit. Small blind and big blind call as well. It's 5 ways. Flop comes queen, deuce, 4 with 2 hearts. We pretty much only have a gut shot, so not much going on here. Small blind, big blind, and under the gun all check. And now the middle position player throws in a bet for 1,800. I'm not sure why I'm not folding here. I guess the degenerate gambler in me says, let's gamble. And I make the call for 1,800. Please, let's hit a 3. Small blind folds, big blind calls, and under the gun folds. It's 3 ways now to a turn, and we see another deuce. Not much has changed, and it checks around to me. I genuinely consider bluffing, but I can't see much that I can get to fold, and it was 5 ways, so I'm probably punting if I try to bluff this. A queen is going to keep calling, and a flush draw won't go anywhere. So I check. Praying for a 3. Come on, 3. Let's get there. When the river comes, the king of hearts, we say yuck and know what we're doing with this hand. We're throwing it into the muck as soon as we get the chance. Big blind checks and middle position fires for 4K. Honestly, it smells like a flush and we obviously fold. Big blind calls and middle position shows a 6-7 of hearts for the rivered flush. Knew it. I just wish I folded this hand pre-flop. Oh well, to the next. Probably 10 minutes after that hand, we pick up pocket 9s and lose to a 4-liner flush. Not much going for us this hand. Besides that, I'm just finding no chips early on, and we've lost every pot since we've started this tournament. We're down to 15K. Finally, after 20 more minutes, we win our first pot of this tournament. We have ace-9 off in the small blind. We have about 13K behind, and we see middle position open to 900. We consider 3-betting here, but we just make the call. Big blind calls as well. Flop comes ace, 5, 6, rainbow. We have top pair. Let's go. We check, big blind checks, and middle position open fires for 1K. We call to keep bluffs in and see no point in raising. I also do not think he's on a 7-8 or 3-4 type of hand. Probably just a lot of king highs. Big blind folds and the turn comes the 8 of diamonds. There are potential straights on the board. However, I just do not see any 9-7 or 4-7 in his range. So I check and I hope he continues to fire his bluffs. Unlike what I wanted, he just checks back this turn. Now the river brings an offsuit 7. We river to straight. Okay, nice. I consider checking here to allow him to possibly bluff, but I end up going with a small value line of 1K. He quickly folds and I win my first pot of this tournament. Let's go. Soon after that, we win the second pot of this tournament with ace-4 of spades. We're on the cutoff and hijack opens. And we go with our classic 3-bet bluff with this pretty suited wheel draw hand. It folds back to him and he calls. The flop comes some rainbow king-high board. He checks. We c-bet. He folds. Let's go. Easy money. We're into a new level. Blinds are 500, 500, 300, and we pick up pocket 5s from the small blind. We have about 20K behind, and hijack opens to 1100. We go ahead and make the call. Big blind folds. It's heads up, and we're praying for a set. Come on, 5. Let's hit. Flop comes 5, 10, 4, 2 hearts. Bink. Let's go. We've got a set. We check this board, and the hijack player checks back as well. Okay, interesting. The turn comes the 9 of diamonds. Not much should have changed. He probably has some overcards, and I think I need to start putting money in the middle. I lead this turn for 1100, and hijack makes the call. The river is now an ace of clubs. Boom, I think that hits him, so let's make some money. I size up the river bet with an overbet to 6,000. He tanks for the longest time and eventually makes the disgusting look call. I show the goods. Big pot. Stack is up to 29,000. On to the next level. Blinds now at 600, 300. We find a spot with ace-10 of clubs, and we have a missing big blind player. We're under the gun, and earlier this guy who's in the big blind cussed another player out. He got penalized for a whole orbit. Anyways, I open it up to 1400 and it folds to the small blind player. Honestly, he probably thinks I'm pretty sus. He makes the call. Flop comes queen jack 6 with 2 spades. Small blind checks, and honestly, I can bet here sometimes and check here sometimes. I go with the check. Turn comes an offsuit king A. We hit the nuts. Let's go. Better yet, small blind leads this turn for 1200. Looking back, we probably should have raised. However, we just make the smooth call trying to keep all bluffs in. Now we're praying for no spade on the river. Come on, please do not put a spade out there. The river comes the 3 of diamonds. Let's go. We have the stone cold nuts. And now small blind checks, and I have to get value. Not sure on sizing though, but I go big, targeting any kings that he may have. Or make it look like a bluff. I make it 7K, and he snap calls with king 10. Worth over 45K into this tournament. Literally right after the ace-10 hand, we pick up ace-queen off from the big blind. There's an undergun open for 1300. We just make the call. Next time we'll raise, but I typically do not like just calling here. Anyways, heads up. Flop comes ace-queen 3, rainbow. We have top 2. We check, and undergun checks as well. Turn is another ace, and I play this deceptively with another check. Undergun now fires for a small bet of 1400. Let's go. Think this is a bluff. We just make the flat call, and the river comes a king. No flush is complete, and we check once again, just praying for a river bet. And that's what he does. He fires for 3,500. We do the whole Hollywood routine, sitting there thinking about what to do, pretending like we have the biggest decision of our lives. Then we make 15,000. He snap folds, and I just wish he had some of that. We probably got the max out of him though. And right after that ace-queen off hand, we get into the most interesting spot of this tournament. I have ace-jack off on the button. We're running pretty hot, picking up hands, and just getting lucky. But before I go over this hand, we literally just had an older lady who sat down. She has a starting stack, and honestly, my judgment with older lady is they only play the nuts. Well, this older lady surprised me. We're on the button, and she has 20,000 behind. Her very first hand, she limps under the gun. It folds to me, and I raise it to 2K. It's back to her, and she makes the call. Bit worried of traps, but honestly, I'm thinking she's weak here. Flop comes 3, 3, 6, rainbow. She checks, and I bet for 1,500. She then clicks it back to me for 3,000. Alarm bells are ringing now, and I have no clue what she's capable of. But I just make the call because of how small she raised. Turn comes a king, and honestly, I think she's on some medium pocket pair here. She checks this turn. I'm happy to just check this one back. It seems like that king scared her a bit. When the river comes the ace, I'm sitting there cheering, saying, let's go, I have the best hand. And then she goes all in for 2x the pot. Huh? What? I'm genuinely lost now. And I start thinking she has some pocket sixes for the biggest trap in the world, betting that high into an ace river, almost like she's a genius letting me catch up. Then saying, ha, he's got an ace. I'm going to get max value now. I'm all in. I start thinking this old lady is a god. She's got me and I just do not know what to do. I'll let you guys hear some of the audio.
I feel like we're chopping a lot here, but why so much?
Eventually, I start to think we might just be chopping. So I sigh and throw in the chip. She then turns over queen 10 off. And I start saying to myself, what? This lady is so sick. She really just attempted a 2x pot bet bluff with a queen high? Oh my god. Well, I got my first bounty. Let's go. After a lot of folding and not playing big pots for an entire level, we go to our first break of this tournament with over 80k and a massive chip lead at our table.
We're on a break for 15 minutes. It's our first break, and we got about 3x starting stack, so we're doing pretty well in the 600. Let's keep going.
We're back from the break, coming into 1,500 blinds. We pick up 5-6 of clubs from the hijack. Oh yeah, this hand again. Remember how it went last time? We opened it up to 3,000, just looking for folds, but big blind does otherwise. He makes the call. It's heads up and the flop comes deuce, deuce, 10 with 2 clubs. We have a flush draw. Let's go. Big blind checks and we see bet for 2,500. Big blind makes the call and the turn comes the jack of spades. Break. But when big blind checks again, we decide to fire for 6,500 now. Just one thing folds, honestly. Please, fold. Nope. Big blind makes the call once again. Okay. Let's get there then. And that's what we do when the 7 of club binks that river. Let's go. Big blind checks, and for the third time, we now have 2 options. We can shove for 31k, or we can bet for value. I chose the value route. Now, in hindsight, I wish I chose the bounty hunt route, but I also thought that I'd never get a call if I 2x pot bet here. So we go for a value bet of 15,000 into a pot of 17,000, and big blind makes the quick call. Still happy, but was definitely questioning if I could have gotten a bounty there. Anyways, doesn't matter. We have over 105k. Let's go. About 20 minutes later, we find ourselves in a spot with pocket deuces in the small blind. Blinds are still 1k 500, and hijack open shoves for 9,000. It folds to us, and it's bounty hunting time. We reshove our stack covering big blind as well, and big blind folds. Hijack tables king jack off. It's a flip. Let's see a run out. Boom. We scoop our second bounty. It's now only 5 minutes later. I'm chip leading this table and I have short stacks to my left. I pretty much open any 2 now and I'm purely going for bounties. I find a spot with queen 6 off from the cutoff. I know this is a loose open, but I'm looking for 2 black chips. We open it up to 2,500 and the player to our left with only 4,500 behind puts it all in. Small blind and big blind both fold. I think they know what I'm going to do if they flat call, and we know we're behind. But let's get there, please. Nope, nothing there. Oh well, now the next bounty hunt is when I have pocket 3s from under the gun. I open, once again, it folds to big blind. He only has 15,000 behind. He shoves, I snap, let's go, another opportunity, and nope, we're just slowly losing chips now. After a lot of greedy bounty hunting, we chip down to about 82,000 and can't seem to find any spots anymore. We're no longer chip leading our table. I can't go wild anymore and open any 2. We get a table change and we just start to fold for an entire 2 levels actually. Finally, we find a spot with pocket kings. It's level 11 and we're on the low jack and we open it up to 3,500. We now get a 3-bet from a really aggressive player who makes it 15,000. He's on the cutoff, and we have about 50 bigs. I honestly was considering 4-betting to about 40,000, but I feel like it looks way too strong when I commit half my stack there. So I opt to just shove, making it look like I do not want the call. However, he just snap folds, and I really think I could have exploitatively called and played a flop. To be honest, I probably should go with my reads more, especially when I knew he was an aggressive player. Wish I stuck to my gut. I feel like I punted. After the pocket king's hand, we couldn't find another spot for at least 3 to 4 orbits. Later on, we found a spot with the Jack 7 of spades from the big blind. It's level 12, and we only have around 80k in our stack, and we're faced by an under the gun open to 5,000. We make the call. It's heads up, and the flop comes 8, 9, deuce, or rainbow. No spades. We check, and under the gun fires for 5,000. I have a gut shot, and for some reason, I float. The turn comes an offsuit 6, and now I say, screw it, I'm gonna lead this turn. So I bet for 10,000 because I have a lot more straights in my range than he does. Undergun just makes a snap call and looks extremely upset. Interesting. If we brick this river, I have intentions of firing big on the river, so we need to rep this straight. Here we go. When we bink the river with the 5 of hearts, we're internally shouting with joy. We stick to our plan on bombing the river, and we bet out 12,000. Honestly, this hand looks face up. But he still makes the disgruntled call and shows pocket 8s for the flop set. Wow, I did not think he was that strong. Unlucky for him. Lucky for me. Stack is over 100,000 again. Let's go. We now go to dinner break.
All right, we are on a dinner break. It is, I think we got like 33 left. I'll be showing a little screen or recording of all the payouts and everything. So we're almost there. We got 3 bounties, and we're just trying to make the money so we can make a profit on this tournament. And then it's like 15 grand for first. So pretty good shot at this. So yeah. Yeah, we got about a 40-minute break. We got 120, 125k in our stack, so pretty good. And yeah, we'll see you later.
After dinner break, we're on the money bubble and we're at a new table full of big stacks. It's about 6 away from the money and we need to play tight. Find our spots. We come back to level 13 and our stack is at 125,000. We have about 50 bigs. We have 3, 4 spades in the big blind. Under the gun opens to 6k. This player has been opening any 2 on the bubble and has about 500k behind. We get a caller in the hijack and button, and I go ahead and make the call as well. It's 4 ways to the flop of 3, ace, 7 with 2 spades. I check, and it checks around, and now the turn is the deuce of spades. Let's go. We have a straight and a flush. The straight is irrelevant, but I need to charge any one type of spade holding hands, and we lead this turn for 7,000. We get a call from under the gun, and hijack folds, and button makes the call as well. Now we're just praying for a clean river. No spade on this river, please. And that's what we get when the 5 of club hits that river. Now we need to go for value. We are a bit scared of getting shoved on because we're on the bubble, but we're here to win. If we bust to a bigger flush, then so be it. We size up to 20,000 and undergun quickly calls. Button folds and we show and take down the massive pot. The stack is at 170,000. It's about 45 minutes later and we're now on the stone bubble, 1 away from the money, and the poker gods decide to give us 3 scary hands. Right before the bubble, we pick up ace queen of spades, ace queen of diamonds, and ace king offsuit, all on the stone bubble back to back to back. God help me. The ace queen of diamonds, we're under the gun and we open. Big blind calls, I c-bet, big blind calls again. I c-bet the turn, big blind calls once again. And on the river, big blind leads out big. I have none of that board. I fold, we're down to 112k still on this stone bubble. And finally, on the stone bubble with blinds at 3k, 1500, I guess the poker gods decided they wanted to give me another premium. So here we go. We're on the small blind, and once again, chip leader is putting pressure from the hijack, opens it up to 9,000. It folds to me, and I have 2 options. I either fold and play like a pansy, or I shove this in his face and say, screw the bubble, I'm here to win. I decide to shove it in his face, and if I bust this bubble, then so be it. It's hand for hand, and I hear other tables whispering about how there's an all-in at the other table. I say, screw them, and I pray I do not bust this bubble. God, please help me. It folds to the hijack, and he snap calls. Oh, God. Here comes a run out. Oh my God, I won. Yes. I felt like I was going to throw up when he made that call, thank God. Thank you for keeping me in this tournament. Moments later, bursted the bubble, and we're in a nice spot with over 200,000. Let's go. It's down to the final 3 tables, and we're pretty happy that we've made it this deep in this tournament. It's level 15, and blinds are 4K, 2K. There's a short stack to my right, and I'm still a bit bounty hungry. We're on the big blind with ace-9 off. We get an under the gun open to 11K, and it folds to the small blind. Who makes the call? I consider shoving here, but under the gun covers me, and I do not want to throw away my tournament life just for a bounty, so I make the call as well. Remember, small blind has only about 20,000 behind. Flop comes 10-9-4 with 2 diamonds. Small blind now donk leads for the remainder of his stack, and it's about 20,000 left to go, and I make a min raise to about 40K, trying to isolate him. I'm a bit scared that undergun will reshove here, but he just makes the fold, thank God. Let's get this bounty. Here comes a run out.
Oh, it did. Oh.
Well, we missed that bounty. Oh well. We still have a stack, so let's try to keep us going. After folding for a bit, we are on the final 2 table bubble, and we pick up ace-king off from under the gun. Blinds are now 6K, 3K. We open it up to 14K with about 170K behind, and both the blinds make the call. Flop comes king, jack, jack with 2 hearts. I'm not holding any hearts in my hand, and it checks to me, so I c-bet for 22K. And to my surprise, small blind raises it up to 58. Not loving this raise. Big blind folds, and I go ahead and just make the flat call. Just hoping for no hearts on this turn. That's what we get when the 9 of clubs comes. However, the small blind now just shoves the remainder of his stack, and it covers me. I'm put in a very, very tough spot. And honestly, I do not know what to do. I tank for a little bit, and I ultimately make the call because I unblock hearts, and I've seen people overvalue king-queen here. We make the call and are shown the bad news. Here comes the run out. And just like that, we lose to queen-jack offsuit at 19th place, right on the final 2 table bubble. Not sure about that ace-king spot. I've been told that you can fold there sometimes, but with no hearts in my hand, like if I had the ace of hearts, I probably can find a fold much easier, but with my 2 combination of colors, it's just really hard to find a fold there. But I definitely was kind of bummed about that spot. I sat there and thought about it for a little while, but ultimately said it's a fine call because people do shove king queen, and if I do fold there, it definitely is an exploitative fold, not a GTO fold. Anyways, that was the end of our $600 2 black chip bounty at Hardrock Casino in Florida. We have a bunch of tournaments for the remainder of the trip, but you can see later that we were told we cannot record anymore. So we pretty much just played out, and yeah, we do make a deep run in the main event, and we bust at 119th. You can see the link below at what place we busted, so that was a pretty cool run. But however, this was the only footage I was able to get at the Hardrock Casino in Florida. Next time, I will try to get media approval and try to get us some good content, because I definitely will be going back to that casino for any future tournaments. But anyways, to end this video and to end this trip, pretty much, that was really all we got, and I hope you enjoyed it. Thanks for watching.
Alright, we're back in our Airbnb. I'm exhausted. The final hand tonight, we busted at 19th place. It was playing for 15,000 up top. We had a good shot. We made about 200 bucks on the entire day. So not what I wanted, but that's part of the poker life. I got into a spot that I'm not really sure if I could have folded. Maybe I could have, but I had top pair, top kicker, and I ran into trips, so it's just part of it. So I'm back at the Airbnb, about to crash and see what events I'm going to be playing tomorrow. So have a good night.